Hi strangers, are you back for another creepy, terrifying tale? Well, for some reason I knew you'd be back, and I knew you'd want more story time. Time is very precious. Time is a very precious thing. Sound of the clock. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. With every breath, closer to death. One breath closer to the day you die. You must try to remember to always be aware of your time. Can you hear it tick? Listen. Listen. Now, you're here for a story, aren't you? So let's have one. This one is called Time to Die. Hello, strangers. This one starts on a warm summer's morning. Richard is 20. He's a pretty average guy with a new home and a boring, well-paid job. What else could anyone want? The alarm rings. He gets up yawning, opens his curtains. The sun is warm. Birds can be heard outside his window. What an amazing day, he says to himself. Damn, I have work again. The next thing Richard knows, he's at work, sitting in front of a big pile of paperwork at his desk. How did I get here? Then he's back at home. It's dark. It's raining. It's miserable. He stands moping at the window, rain beading on the outside. He was about to close the curtains, watching the rain flow down the roads. Beams of light shine glistening from the puddles of water on the streets. Every day was the same. He would just find himself on autopilot. You know, that feeling when you just zone out. It's weird. It's like you know what you're doing without even knowing it. Richard worked every day and never requested a day off work. His mortgage was too expensive to even consider it. The next thing he knew again, his alarm was ringing. He got up yawning. He opened the curtains. The sun was warm. Birds can be heard from the bedroom window. The sun was hot and bright. Work again, said Richard. Next thing he noted, he's at work, sitting at piles of paperwork, piled high on his desk. Ooh, yeah, coffee. Then Richard is back at home. It's dark. It's raining. And miserable. Richard stands moping at the window, watching the rain beading on the outside. But then, something weird happens. There's a strange tapping sound coming from the bathroom. Richard walks slowly over to where the sound is coming from. The tapping sound was coming from the bathroom. Richard walks over slowly to the tapping sound, for some reason almost creeping towards the door. Hello? Anybody there? He hears the noise again, but this time the sound was harder and louder. He opens the door slowly and turns on the light. Richard scratches his head and had a very puzzled look on his face. Richard's eyes suddenly darted around the room, looking for the thing that could be making that sound. Tap, tap, tap. The lights then flicker and go off. Darkness filled the room. Then, a red light beamed from behind the big round bathroom mirror, the mirror over the sink. It started to crack. Richard startled backwards, then seemed to have a force pulling him towards the mirror. He looked closely as the mirror appeared to fix itself. Beams of red light shining from the cracks. It slowly heals and reconnects like magic. The pull of the force seemed to drag him closer. He feels something tighten around his wrists. The red light still poured in brightness around the outside. The red light still poured with brightness. His eyes, he gazed at the reflection of the face before him. Richard looked very hard at the face in the mirror as the face in the mirror was talking. "It's me. You don't remember me, do you?" Richard was confused about the face. The reflection in the mirror copied every mouth move he made. Richard was shocked in horror, staring at the face looking back at him, trying to figure out who it was. "Ha ha 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 ha! You don't remember me, do you?" Once again, Richard looked hard into the mirror. "Dad, is that you?" "You foolish soul. You look. I am you. You have wasted every day, wasted it the same for many years. You haven't even taken the time just to look at yourself." Richard was still trying to figure out who this person was in the mirror and why it was his reflection. The person in the mirror looked about 50 or maybe older. What happened? Richard yelled. "Well, you worked, and that's all you've ever done. Time to learn a lesson. Every day onwards from now, you will age 5 years. Every day, return back here. I want you to learn to live, or you will die having nothing or done nothing but waste the precious time you have left. You have been dead for years, and we need to change. I have plans for you, old man. It's your birthday tomorrow, and you will not be going to work. You're going to have fun. I know what you should do. You should write a list." All of a sudden, Richard's arm became his own again. It got released from the force holding him down. It starts to move by itself. He watches the reflection in the mirror. His hand moves fast and he punches a china soap dispenser. Blood starts running down his arm. Blood starts running down his right arm. Then his index finger points outwards and points at the mirror. "Tomorrow, we are robbing a bank. No need to worry about money then, do we?" All of a sudden, Richard's finger starts moving on the mirror in front of him, with no power to his hand whatsoever, and in big letters, written in his own blood, spells out, "Rob a bank." Suddenly the red light fades, and the power of his body comes back. Blood is now dripping all over the floor. He walks over to his chair, feeling weak. What was that? He goes back to the bathroom, looking at the blood trails along the floor. Am I really that old? Thought Richard. He bends over to get the first aid box. He looks over at the blood, seeing the words written in blood, "Rob a bank," then looks behind at it at his reflection and pulls around his face, leaving blood lines down it. I didn't even look at myself. This whole time, the blood drained from his face. He was confused. What does it mean? Rob a bank. He mopped up his blood with some kitchen roll and sits with his first aid box, looking at the tiny cuts in his hand. Did I do this? Maybe I should see a doctor tomorrow, he thought to himself. I know I'm delusional, seeing things, hurting myself. Yes, I will take the day off. He wipes his wounds and puts plasters on them. pulls back his covers and goes to bed. The alarm rings. He gets up and he opens his curtains. The sun is shining. Then he notices the plasters all over his hand. And he sits back at the end of the bed. Damn. I almost forgot. I am so messed up. He looks at his phone. I will go to work today and find out what day I can take off. I don't want to go to the doctors. How do I even explain something like this? The next thing he knows it, he's sitting at his office chair. Piles of paperwork on his desk. But then he notices something. There's blood on one of the top pages in the pile of paperwork he has on his desk. He holds the first page up. Black printed lines, words on the paper. It was the words, rob a bank, rob a bank, rob a bank, rob a bank, written repeatedly. He lit through the whole stack, every page again and again. He stands up. He lays them all out, heavy breathing. His heart beats faster and faster while he bends over and studies the words. He got to the last page in the pile. Look in your desk drawer. He looked around at the other members of staff that were in the same room as him. Maybe someone's trying to prank me. It is my birthday. No one looked over at him and opened the top drawer of his desk. There was a red plastic bag and written on it saying, "You might need this." Quickly, Richard hides the bag in his suit and runs to the toilet as the boss was walking over to him. "You okay, Richard? What happened to your hand?" "Sorry, toilet emergency." He scurried into the bathroom. He locks the door in the toilet and sits down on the seat, slowly pulling the red bag out of his suit. He rips open the bag and finds a gun, a scary monster mask, and gloves, and another note written in blood, "Rob a bank." He swallows hard, his eyes widen. A gun. He stands up, pushing the things back into the red bag. He mutters, swearing to himself. Then all of a sudden, the fire alarm starts to ring. He ran out the building, heart beating fast, the heat burning inside of him from the fear. He didn't know what to do. What was this force? Was he just crazy? He stands outside the building with his colleagues, looking up at the sky, dark grey clouds moving slowly across the sky. Then the boss steps outside. "Everyone here?" "Yes," said Brenda with a clipboard. "We need this place to have a check before we can re-enter, so you can all have the rest of the day off work. Have a nice afternoon. You will have an email tomorrow about the events that happened today." Richard takes a deep breath. It felt like he hadn't taken one since he saw the gun. Then he opens his eyes. His boss stands in front of him. Can I ask you a question? I was meant to take this to the bank today. Now this thing with the fire alarm has messed up my day and I need to wait here for the goddamn fire people." Again, he could feel the blood drain from his face and had fear in his eyes. The bank?" "Yes, Dick, the bank." Yes. "Here, take this and put it into our account." "Okay, sir." He passes him a red plastic bag with notes stacked inside. He started to feel dizzy. It was like the whole world spinning around him. He staggered backwards, then started to walk towards the bank. It was like his legs had a mind of their own. He keeps walking till he reaches the bank and looks up at the big sign outside. Sweat rolled off his forehead and his hands trembling, thinking of the idea of taking a gun into a bank. As he walks in, he feels for the red bag full of cash in his pocket. But the only thing he can find is the gun. He can feel it. He stood in a long line of people, still trying to search for the money bag. It was very busy in the bank, and there was a big queue. He started to pat himself down. The lady in front of him turns around and tuts. and shakes her head, anxious even more. Then he bumps into the man behind him. "You want to watch yourself," and pushes Richard backwards. He runs around the corner to an alleyway and takes out the red bag. He pulls on the mask, puts on the gloves, and takes the gun in his hand. The next thing he knows it, he's waving it around in the bank. "Give me all the money now." Now he walks over to the man who pushed him and shoots him right in the head. Everybody in the bank starts screaming and panicking. "Get on the floor or I will kill you. I will kill all of you. And don't even think about pushing them alarms back there." He walked over to the lady that tutted at him. Bang! He shot her right through the head. Red blood splattered all over the people's faces behind her. All of a sudden, Richard starts laughing. "You're wasting it. You're just all wasting it. You're meant to live." "This isn't living. Hughes, bag up the money. Now." The cashier's brought over 2 bags of money. "That's the only cash we have." "Fine." He takes hold of the bags and walks out of the bank. Runs and runs and runs till he gets back to his house. "I did it. I can't believe I did it. Killed 2 people and robbed a bank." Richard sat against his front door. "What have I become? A killer? A murderer?" He sits there, hearing sirens, and takes a deep breath. "They're coming here." The sound slowly passes away. He took another deep breath and looks down at his white shirt. Blood dots splattered all over it. Tap, tap, tap. It was that noise again. He gets up and walks towards the bathroom. Tap, tap, tap. Force takes him again. "Well done. You did it. Now that wasn't too bad now, was it? Was it, old man?" He looks up the mirror and stares into the face of an old man, older than before. He had a long grey beard and a very wrinkled face. "What have you done? I'm older." The laughter went on. It was so loud. Ha 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 ha. I started to talk again. "You're weak and you're stupid. A stupid waste of life anyway. Why do you even care about your absolute waste of time?" Tears run down Richard's face, but the laughter still continued. "Why would you do this to me?" The force of the power lifted again. Richard dropped to the floor, sobbing and crying, feeling very sad for himself. He slowly leans up onto the sink and looks at himself. His face is so old. He's so hurt by what he had done, about the things that he did. And now he is old and has wasted his life. He opens the bathroom drawer and takes out a razor. He falls to the floor on his knees and cuts his wrists open and bleeds to death. Well, poor Richard, hey? His time just tick-tocked away. What a utter loser. What a waste of time. I hope you enjoyed today's creepy, terrifying tale, and I hope to see you next time. Please subscribe. I did write this for your enjoyment. I did this for you. And I'll see you next time for another creepy, terrifying tale. Goodbye.